Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of the Bolt City Podcast. Josh Palet, Mario Herron. I'm Dave Palet. Looking forward to talking a little Charger football as we start looking forward to the 2023 season. And guys, I don't know about you, but as old as I get, every time it is after the Super Bowl, I feel like I'm in mourning. I like, the next week, what do we do now without football? And you're bummed out. There's no Thursday, there's no Sunday, there's no Monday. And you're like, man, I love the NFL. And not to have the Chargers or any NFL has been extremely depressing.
Yeah, it hurts even more when the team that you hate the most wins the Super Bowl. That makes it hurt way more. But yeah, everybody feels the same way. Like when football season's over, you try to pick up a hobby, try to think maybe I like something else, and it never works out. There's always something weird on TV on Sunday where you used to watch football. You're like, I don't want to watch curling. Like this isn't fun at all. So I don't know. It's always a weird time after football season where you try to act like you're a well-rounded human being and you realize you're one-dimensional.
Yeah, sure. It's weird to wake up on a Sunday and be like, what do I do today? Like, it's like I forget what normal people do on a Sunday besides like just watch football. Like, I didn't understand that. Also, like NBA, screw you for doing like All-Star break like shortly after. Let's jump on the opportunity, instead of just making us cause more pain. And I'm also I forgot to mention this before the show, but I think it's a good time to bring it up now. I'm in a big dilemma right here, gentlemen. Huge dilemma. So I obviously the Chiefs fans, they won. They're very excited. Girlfriend's family's a Chiefs fan. And I was with them, had to go to the brothers' volleyball game. Very intense game. Crazy score. Crazy fight going back and forth. And they're like, what size shirt are you? We're going to get you a Chiefs champion shirt. And I was like, you don't need to twist the blade, but they're twisting the blade. So I'm getting tortured everywhere. I'm just in a I'm in a ring of fire. Shut out. I almost said that's not Mellencamp. That's Johnny Cash. That's Johnny Cash, not Mellencamp. There you go. Thanks, Boomer. But yeah, I'm in the torture chamber right now.
Hold on a second. Johnny Cash was before my time. You said Mellencamp because you're in Indiana. Is everything on Mellencamp?
I didn't know he's from Indiana, but hey,
yeah,
we'll take it.
From Indiana,
we'll take it, baby.
Damn it! Hold on a second. I'll tell you right now, man. I love you, Mario, like family. But if you put on a Chiefs shirt, don't ever talk to me again. Like
no,
it's not okay.
I'm gonna have to throw it away or burn it or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Change the oil. I don't care what you do with it, but you can't ever pull it over your head.
No, I'm never going to. I might use it if I'm out of toilet paper. I'll use it.
Go ahead.
Give it to a homeless person. You did a good deed, and then it makes it look like Chiefs fans are homeless. So there you go. It's a double win.
I like that move. I tell you what. Speaking of that, I hate when you see people who like getting married and they'll have like, let's say, a big Alabama cake, and then when you cut into it, it's an LSU cake. Dude, guess what, man? I'm getting that annulled. Like that. That's not okay. Don't pull that move on our wedding day. Yeah, it's not okay. Chiefs T-shirt. Chiefs T-shirt's not okay. No. Say, look, I'm not going to not talk to you when your team wins the Super Bowl, and I'm not wearing your gear. That's for damn sure.
Yeah. I don't even call people chief, or boss.
I don't even think about doing that. No.
Yeah.
You're a loser if you do that.
I don't even call anybody buddy, dude. Some people get mad when you call them that too. I'm trying
to watch out if you call anyone buddy, especially if you're in South Bend, Indiana, and talking to the cross country team. I really don't like buddy.
So, what's your guys' opinion on Ronaldo Hill leaving the Chargers to take a step down, really, going to the Miami Dolphins? Do you think that's a big deal? Does that mean anything to you guys at all?
Go ahead, Mario.
So, to me, this like really stood out because I think it kind of I know we harp on the guy a lot, but it really does kind of show, I think, what even his associates and what people around him kind of think of him and where they rank Staley among other defensive minds in the league, right? The fact that Hill is leaving, Vic Fangio is one of the best defensive minds in the league, 110%. He's a genius when it comes to that. But the fact that he's leaving to take a lesser position with the Miami Dolphins and leaving these Los Angeles Chargers, I think is a huge red flag. Is a humongous red flag. I don't think it's a good look for Staley. I don't think it's a good look for the Chargers organization. It's a loss I wouldn't say it's like a huge loss in a way of like scheme and stuff like that, because Staley is very hands-on with the defense, but it does, and he calls the plays, but it does scream a lot to or where he ranks in terms of defensive minds in the league. And we know for a fact right now, he's very clearly below Vic Fangio.
So here's my wondering is you saw Eric Bieniemy do the same thing with the Chiefs and leave for the Commanders, right? I mean, you left for a team without a quarterback, obviously without Patrick Mahomes. You went to a team that's not a postseason team in the Commanders, but you had to kind of prove yourself. As you just said, Mario, Staley calls the defensive plays. He runs the defense. Is this one of those moves for Hill that he says, I'm going to go to Miami to basically enhance my resume, to show I'm not just a figurehead? You see what I'm saying? It's not one of those where I think the Chargers are a joke organization. I'm doing it because I'm trying to reestablish myself that I actually have a brain. I mean, that's what Bieniemy's doing. Am I right? I mean, Bieniemy's trying to prove he's not Andy Reid's guy.
The Wizard of Oz
there and has the title. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, don't have a brain. But this is the thing. If you take a step down, how are you showing anybody you actually have a brain? Because it kind of shows me that you don't have a brain if you're going to take a lesser role. Is it the
you
thing
think it's job security? Meaning that he thinks Brandon Staley has 1 year and done? That he's like, hey, if Brandon Staley's fired, I'm fired too.
I think everybody knows that Brandon Staley calls the shots on the defense and that he's a placeholder with a DC title and that he knows there's really no value in the position he has. I'd rather go work with Vic Fangio, who I know really well, and actually do something, which it seems like to me from the outside. I have no idea what happens inside the building, but to me, it seems that way. And then with the Chargers, you have Brandon Staley that calls all the defensive plays. You never heard one time during the season anybody question Ronaldo Hill for a defensive mishaps or a success. So he knows that he's just a placeholder and there's nothing behind his actual title.
I think I agree with that. Like, I think he knows there's nothing more to it than that title. And I mean, if we're being honest, yeah, like on paper, the role's lesser, but in a way, it's arguably like very similar. Like, he's still not going to be calling defensive plays, doesn't call defensive plays for the Chargers. All he helps is really the defensive game plan and development, which he'll be doing with the Miami Dolphins. But I think it just goes to the fact that he knows I'm going to learn 10 times more from Fangio than I will from Staley. And when I go to apply for a head coaching or defensive coordinator job, they're going to see the names Vic Fangio, and that's going to stand out 10 times more than Brandon Staley's going to.
Yeah, I tell you what, I think I would have made the same move. I mean, I know it sounds kind of crazy because really the thing you're swapping out is title, but do you believe Brandon Staley's going to have this job in a year? And maybe that went through Ronaldo Hill's head as part of it, saying, you know what, I'm going to go somewhere where I think Josh McDaniel's not going anywhere. At least I know I'll have a paycheck in 2 years, whereas I could be shown the door in 1 year. Right. I mean, Brandon Staley has to get it done now. I mean, you're changing out coordinators. I'm sorry, Mike McDaniel. Sorry about that.
Yep.
Mike McDaniel. And you sit there and you go, Mike McDaniel is basically king of the city. Everybody loves him. He got great things out of Tua. He has tremendous offense and he has defensive talent as well. That maybe looks at it as it's more job security than NFL, where I think most of us believe, at least I do, that, you know, Brandon Staley, either you win now this year or 2023 is your last season as the Chargers head coach.
But how can you predict if the Chargers are really going to swap out their coaches? I don't think Chargers have ever given any indication that you actually know what's going to happen with the head coaching position. When we had Mike McCoy and Anthony Lynn, us as Charger fans wanted them fired immediately after the season was over, yet they continue to stick around. Chargers have always been a team that stays with their coach for too long, unless it's Marty Schottenheimer and you fire him after a 14-2 season. So I don't know the writing on the wall with Brandon Staley, but I think it's kind of what you said earlier with Eric Bieniemy, where he leaves Andy Reid. It says, I can do this on my own. I really was just kind of a placeholder with a really good title with the Chiefs. I want to prove I'm something else. The only thing I'm concerned about here is that he did take a lesser position. So it's kind of just a weird thing. I want to see how it plays out. I'm sure he'll get another job as a DC down the line, but leaving a DC role for a lesser role is rarely seen in the NFL.
In any job.
Yeah, in any job. But it's also I know that Bieniemy thing's like something a little similar, but I do think it's like very different in a way because like Bieniemy needs another job to kind of prove he's a head coach, you know, because it's just kind of like, well, you have like Matt Nagy's gonna have Mahomes and be fine, you know. But like if we're sitting around in the offseason and going Matt Nagy for a head coaching position, then everyone that works in the NFL, then everyone that covers the NFL needs to probably wipe out the resume and go look for another job, because we just shouldn't be doing that, because like it's a freaking idiot and a dumpster fire of a coach person maybe. So I don't know. That's Bieniemy thing's interesting to me. It's just, I think it's like a little different than Hill.
So, okay, well, let's ask about Bieniemy since he was in the division. Bieniemy leaves for the Commanders. Good move, bad move? I mean,
for him,
honestly, I don't feel the Chiefs are affected one bit by Bieniemy leaving.
It means nothing to me at all.
It does nothing as far as weakening the Chiefs. Okay, so Bieniemy goes to the Commanders. He's literally in maybe the most competitive division in the NFL, right? And you're going, are you going to have success to become a head coach in what you do with the Commanders? To me, that was a bad job choice.
Here, this is why I think it's a good choice. One, he saw I've reached my absolute peak with the Chiefs. I'm not going to get a head coaching position. If it would have happened, it would have happened already, with the Chiefs being so successful the last 5 seasons, maybe even more than 5 seasons. But him being there and being so great and not getting a head coaching job, he goes to the Commanders, and if he does well there, he thinks in his head probably, I'm gonna get a head coaching position, and Ron Rivera might be on the way out, kind of like Brandon Staley with the Chargers. He thinks he probably could step in and take that spot.
I think it was a smart move for him to go somewhere else to be an offensive coordinator just for his career. But the fact that going to Washington was very interesting to me, just for the fact of you're going to a QB room where all 3 QBs like kind of think they're the starter. You know,
they're all terrible,
and they all suck, and it's like that's the thing that's interesting to me. It's like I don't understand why, whatever happens with Lamar, if he stays or leaves. But like I would have been like, I'm just gonna try to go to Baltimore, because I know if I go to Baltimore, there's a stronger case that Lamar will stay, because Lamar's like, okay, I can work with the guy that worked with Mahomes. It was for his development, so why not just stay there? So that was the other thing that kind of stood out to me, is like I would more try to go to a team or place that has a young quarterback or just more dynamic quarterback to work with. Like going to the Commanders, like their receiving core is insane. The receiving core is actually very, very talented. But that part where I was like, why would you go into that QB room? Like the QB room seems like the biggest, bring Advil in there, man. Like that's going to be the biggest headache for you all year to figure out.
The only way is up. That's why I think that's why. I'm sorry. I think that's why he went there.
Yeah.
If he does bad, it's like, well, dude, what did you expect? If he does well, it's like, oh wow, he's a really good coach. That's my opinion. I have no idea, but I think he's looking at it that way. If they do anything well, it looks like he's a good coach.
Like they could go and to your point, they could go 500, and if Howell's a QB and has a couple games where he throws 3 touchdowns, that's a very successful. Like that's incredible. You know what I'm saying? Like that's where I agree to your point, where it's like that would be incredible.
Okay, let's look at it this way. So you're the Commanders. I'm a Ron Rivera fan. I like Ron Rivera, the way he handles the team. I like him a lot. I knew him as a person when he was with the Chargers here. When Bieniemy goes to the Commanders and you say, okay, I'm looking at what the Eagles have. The Eagles are supposed to win that division again. Then you go, okay, the New York Giants are supposed to be a little bit better. Dable's going to be in his second year, coach of the year. Dallas Cowboys could be a toss-up because they're getting killed in the whole, salary situation. And then at the same time, you have the Commanders. As we just said, they don't have the quarterback. They have the worst quarterback in the division. So for Bieniemy, his best chance of getting a job next year as a head coach, that's his ultimate goal. Is he more marketable, let's say, to a team like the Chargers, who could be looking for an offensive head coach in 2024 if he was coming from the Chiefs, or if he's coming from the Commanders that at best finish in 3rd place?
I'm really big on nabbing coaches within the division. I love taking.
Bieniemy's from Los Angeles. Bieniemy's an LA guy.
I love that. I think when you take a coach from within the division, it kind of sends a message like, okay, we have one here. It's like taking a spy, basically. Like we have somebody from inside your facility, brought him over here. He knows how you guys function. I would not be upset at all if the Chargers went with Eric Bieniemy. We talked about it multiple times throughout the playoffs. Almost every coach in the playoffs was an offensive coach. The Chargers obviously had a defensive head coach. I think the move is definitely to go with an offensive mind. If you're not going to get Sean Payton, that's already dead. Let's go with Eric Bieniemy or somebody else that can revolutionize the offense. Justin Herbert's not going to stay if you have a defensive head coach. He might say to the media that he loves Brandon Staley and all that crap, but if he's not going to have a guy that's going to make him better, then why would you stay? And I think Justin Herbert's the absolute most important thing. If you're a Charger fan, we need him to stay at the team as long as possible.
I agree. Especially if he's at the Commanders, and like I said, if they even go 500, if Scary Terry has a 1,000-yard season and Johnny Brown takes a step and Brian Robinson has a good year, like if any just offensive powerhouse player comes in, or even at quarterback position, I think that's a huge step in. I'm fine with taking Bieniemy. Like Bieniemy, please come. I would be more than happy to do that. I do think too, let's say Chargers have a tough year though, and then Kellen Moore kills it. Curious if you guys thoughts. Would you be even surprised if it's just, hey, we have this guy, young kid, just killed the offense, just bump him up to a head C?
I'd be 100% fine with it. I mean, I really want an offensive head coach really bad for the Chargers. That's what I want. I mean, Justin Herbert's your future. Justin Herbert's a young guy. I want an offensive head coach more than anything for the Chargers. I mean, I think that's a really good point for me, at least. Say, why don't you just go ahead and keep Kellen Moore and Justin Herbert building that relationship than to think about even bringing in a Bieniemy?
I think it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't thing with the Chargers. If they do bad this year, then you had a bad season. That sucks. But you get Kellen Moore as your head coach. If you do great this season, you keep Brandon Staley and you're going to lose Kellen Moore. I don't think there's any circumstance where Kellen Moore is with the Chargers as an OC for longer than 1 year. This is going to be his 1 year as the OC for the Chargers. Somebody's going to nab him as a head coach. We're so lucky he came to the Chargers. The fact that he's even here, like I said, if we're bad, he's going to be the head coach. If we're great, he's going to go somewhere else. Yeah. So, anyways,
sorry, that pause was awkward. But no, I was just thinking about what you said because so here we go. Let me throw this at you guys. Last thing, because the Brandon Staley story is something we're going to be talking about for 52 weeks. Brandon Staley, did he just hire his replacement? Like, is he thinking in his mind, I might have just hired?
You didn't hire him.
I just hired my. You don't think it was Brandon Staley's call that Kellen Moore was his guy? You think Tom Telesco brought him in?
Tom brought him in. If you're Brandon Staley, why would you bring in the best assistant head coach or arguably the best assistant head coach in the NFL? Why would you do that? Right? You would want to get somebody else that's a good coach that's not going to be like gunning for your job. I think that's a total Tom Telesco move. We're going to have two guys duke it out for this season. Who's the better coach? Is that not how you guys see it?
No, not exactly. I saw it, Mario. I don't know how you saw it, but I saw it that if Brandon Staley does well, and when I mean do well, worst case scenario is AFC Championship game, that everybody comes back, and Kellen Moore might get an offer somewhere else. Josh, to your point, but at least if I'm Brandon Staley, I keep my job as a head coach for 1 more year. I'm not going to make it to the AFC Championship game or Super Bowl and get fired.
I completely agree.
I think yeah. No, sorry, go. Sorry.
Yeah, I agree with you, Dave. I think it was a save your job hire. I was a save your job, but I do think I think everyone in that Chargers organization knows it is a rental. Where it's like if the Herbert is in the MVP conversation, Moore is probably gone. You know, like you can't tell me that the New York Jets aren't foaming at the mouth for Kellen Moore. You know, like bringing another guy in here to see if we can get it going. So I think for that, I think that was like a last second hire. If I'm Staley though, it was a hire to keep your job. And what I'm also thinking is keep that QB coach happy. As I'm blanking out his name, but I would keep him as happy, make sure he's learning as much from Moore as possible. So as soon as Moore's gone, I'm promoting from within and getting that guy as the OC. Because if everything's going well, that usually means that QB coach is happy, Herbert's happy with the QB coach is learning under Moore. We can just bump him up as soon as Moore's rental's over. But I do think it was a hire to kind of save Staley.
That's funny. You guys could be totally right, but I totally think Tom Telesco hired him to save his own job. Tom Telesco needs to save his job, in my opinion, and the Chargers need to do really well for Tom Telesco to stay with the team. Also, I want to talk about Joe Lombardi, who was our OC last year, who all of us cannot stand from week 1 all the way to the end of the season. Joe's absolutely nuts. He goes and gets in bed with the devil, with the Denver Broncos, who actually hate more than the Chiefs, and it just makes me laugh. I don't know why I thought it was funny that he went to the Broncos, because he goes back to Daddy and Sean Payton. I couldn't be happier to see somebody, like I said, a spy, if you will, not a very good one at that, go to a team that I hate. Do you guys care at all that Joe Lombardi left the Chargers for the Broncos?
Go ahead, Mario.
Oh, okay.
Okay. No, go ahead.
No, I'm happy about it. Like it's like the best thing ever. It's like, you mentioned the spy thing. It's like taking the dumbest spy. You know, it's like if anyone sees the show Slow Horses, it's like taking one of those people and the one that can't get into MI5. It's like getting one of those people. Like, it's the best. I saw it and I laughed and I enjoyed it. And I thought, I can't wait for him and Russell Wilson to be sitting in a film room and Sean Payton's going to walk in there going, this is Dumb and Dumber in a room. Like, this is first grade level thinkers right now trying to break down football film. Like, this is miserable. I loved it. I'm a huge fan of it. Keep hiring Lombardi's idiots.
So, for me, when Lombardi got hired, wasn't surprised, right? Lombardi and Peyton have a relationship going back to New Orleans. No one's really surprised about that. As we do the show right now, Lombardi hasn't been given a title by the Broncos. He's not the official OC yet. And look, if he's the OC, fine. I'll be honest with you. I think if I'm Russell Wilson and I'm looking at what Lombardi did for the Chargers, I'm going, this is the best offense for me. Meaning that Russell Wilson was very inaccurate. Right, he wasn't a very good passer last year. Matter of fact, he didn't look like a Hall of Famer at all, and everyone thinks he's going to end up in Canton, Ohio. But with Lombardi, man, it was so many plays that are behind the line of scrimmage. Maybe that's what Russell Wilson would succeed at.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when Mario and I were texting today, I was like, last place. I'm like, you just locked up last place again if you're the Broncos. There's nothing that Lombardi can bring if he's the OC where you go, man, the Broncos just took major steps today. If anything, I think Sean Payton's this is one of those things you get punished for being loyal to your friends.
I think this is coaching rehab. Alabama does the same thing where they take beaten up coaches and bring them in. I don't think Joe Lombardi is going to be doing anything. I think Sean Payton's going to be calling the plays for the Denver Broncos, and Joe Lombardi's going to have that Eric Bieniemy title right under him. I'd be surprised if Joe Lombardi has any success with Russell Wilson if he does call the plays, because last time I checked, 6-yard passes and throwing to the running back 30 times a game isn't technically a recipe for success. So if the Broncos do that, congratulations, you're idiots. You guys have been idiots the last couple years. So I love to see it. I agree with Mario. It's like Dumb and Dumber. I told you guys in the text earlier, they should move the team from Denver to Aspen, just like the movie, because those guys are I don't know what they're doing. And it's funny because I feel the same way about the Raiders too. Those are the two teams in the division where I just love when they make moves, because I'm like, these guys are so stupid. It's like having two idiots within the division.
Yeah, it's the best.
All right, so speaking of the Raiders, the team we haven't touched on, right now, the Raiders said goodbye to Carr. Carr kind of played that thing, as a genius, giving the Raiders zero chance to get anything in return for him. Say, no, you're going to let me go, and the team I'm going to is not going to be punished for getting me. So, no, this is the way it's going to play out. Carr has made it clear it's going to be a long interview process. He's going to check in with every team. Carolina is a place he's been. A lot of people say Carolina might have an upper hand because Carr's so religious, and Carolina is a place to go for a religious person. New York would not be a good fit. Then you find out, guess what? His meetings with the Jets were outstanding, that it was a really good fit. And then at the same time, you've been hearing talk that Carr could end up with Houston, which would be crazy because I think the entire city of Houston still hates his brother. So
yeah,
where does he, possibly end up? Not concerned about Carr exactly where he goes, but what does that mean for if the Jets get Carr? That means Aaron Rodgers isn't going to the Jets, which opens the door back for two more destinations for Aaron Rodgers. And they're both brought up on this show about 6 weeks ago. Aaron Rodgers, some of us on the show said we see him with the Titans, and some of us said we see him with the Raiders. If Aaron Rodgers ends up signing with the Raiders, how strong are the Raiders?
How good is Aaron Rodgers? Like, Mario, I'm going right to you, Mario, because you're the guy that watches more Aaron Rodgers than us. How good is Aaron Rodgers?
Before I say that, he's like a subpar human being. Doesn't talk to his family reportedly. I know it's rumors. He's a pretty damn good football player. Like, this past year was tough, but back-to-back MVP. And there's still this so sucks to say, but there's still no one better in the NFL than looking off a safety. There's no one better. Like, there's no one better at that than him. And it sucks to say, but I mean, he had to live in Wisconsin for 6 months of the year, so that had to suck. So I'm happy he had to suffer through that. Him in New York makes no sense, but he's still so good. I think with the Raiders, him and Devontae Adams back would be, I mean, dude, that would be hell. That'd be hell on earth for us. That'd be Lucifer. on the other side of the sideline there. Like, that's awful. That would not be fun. No good for JC Jackson and the boys. I'll tell you that right now.
All right, so here's the deal. It was for me, Josh. Aaron Rodgers is still one of the more accurate passers. He didn't feel comfortable with his receivers. I think you give Aaron Rodgers a big time tight end. You give him Devontae Adams. You give him Hunter Renfrow. You give him Josh McDaniels as your coach, and you're in a controlled weather environment because you're playing indoors half the time. And when you aren't playing at the Raiders' home stadium, you're playing basically the Chargers one more game. That's another game that's basically a controlled environment. Man, I think it's a dream scenario for the Raiders, and I also think at the same time it's bad news for the AFC West.
Okay. Don't they still have Josh Jacobs, the leading NFL rusher?
They do.
Yeah. So you give him all of those guys, and it's scary. I agree. I was thinking, man, he had a bad year, but I was like, that Packers team sucks. He had nobody to throw to. Alan Lazard and Christian Watson compared to freaking Hunter Renfrow. And dude, that's going to be crazy if he goes to the Raiders. I think it's a perfect match for Aaron Rodgers. The Raiders' personality and Aaron Rodgers' personality kind of link, except he's just way more weird and the Raiders are like tough. So that would be kind of weird. Him going to the Jets makes a whole lot of sense too to me because the Jets were missing a quarterback obviously the entire season. Some people think the Jets actually have the best defense in the NFL. If you look at their numbers, they were outstanding. Him going to New York, that would be awesome with the media. Like the crazy crap that'd be happening with those interviews and everything that came out of Aaron Rodgers' mouth. I would love that as a football fan. Definitely don't want to see him with the Raiders. That being said, I think Aaron Rodgers is still a top 10 quarterback and would still be the third best quarterback in the AFC West, which is hard to say.
Okay, are you guys also rattled too? Like right now, like you were saying, like we've heard about the Jets, right? Like what they're gonna do. We've heard stuff about the Texans. Irsay's opened up his mouth, said stupid things about what the Colts are gonna do. Like, are you guys rattled at all that the Raiders like cut Carr or parted ways with Carr, whatever the proper term is? But like, there's no rumor, there's no word, there's no like big segment on ESPN about Raiders QB targets. Like it's dead quiet. Like, does that rattle you guys at all? Like, it seems like to me, I'm like, do you guys have a plan? Because it's just all quiet on the Western Front for you guys. Like, there's just nothing going on, and I'm a little like rattled by that.
I think the smarter teams stay quiet. I mean, that's
Okay.
it. We always right. I mean,
Yeah.
The always say in the business, right? If a story leaks, somebody meant it for it to leak. Aaron Rodgers hasn't said anything. I mean, he went dark. Now he came out of the dark in Oregon. And then, the rumor is that if Aaron Rodgers is not a Packer next year, he's either a Jet or he's a Raider. I mean, those are the heavy rumors. It'd be crazy if he ended up with the Jets. He followed in the same footsteps as, Brett Favre goes from the Packers to the Jets. Next thing you know, Rodgers is sending deep picks. Things go crazy.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't make any sense.
Provides funding for a viable team.
Like, Aaron Rodgers, I think, wants to separate himself from what Brett Favre more than anything. But if he went to the Raiders, because out here, I'm on the West Coast, and there are a ton of Raider fans where I'm at right now. There are tons of people posting pictures of Aaron Rodgers in a Raider uniform. I mean, the fans are talking about it like crazy. Now, the Raiders have stayed kind of quiet. If I was an NFL owner or general manager, I'd have a major panic attack every night going, oh, my God, I don't have a quarterback. Because you have zero chance to compete without one. And if I'm the Jets, I'm freaking out. And the Jets are freaking out. But if I'm the Raiders, as you said, have stayed quiet, I'd be freaking out unless I go, you know what, things are going to be okay. And we all know the Packers are going to trade him to an AFC team. Again, Josh is in Nashville. Aaron Rodgers has a home in Franklin, Tennessee, which is right outside of Nashville. That Aaron Rodgers probably wouldn't mind going to the Titans. Again, another AFC team where if you're the Packers, he's not going to come back to hurt us.
You think he wouldn't mind going to the Titans? I would hate to go to the Titans. I feel like they're in a complete rebuilding mode. They just cut Taylor Lewan and Ben Jones, two captains on the offensive line.
Robert Woods.
I don't know what Robert Woods, another guy that's a high character guy. If I'm Aaron Rodgers, I want to go to the Raiders, even more than the Jets. He's from Northern California, is really close to home, which actually doesn't mean anything to him, as Mario pointed out. Being close to home,
who's he going to go visit? He's not
Yeah.
visiting anybody. Who gives an S?
Yeah, ex-girlfriends. It'd be, I don't know. I as a football fan, I hate it if he goes to the Raiders because I'm a Charger fan, but I kind of love it too because I love the controversy. The controversy with the Raiders as a whole, as an organization, and Aaron Rodgers every time he opens up his mouth. You know what's funny? Because when you get older, you're supposed to be smarter and like not say dumb things. You're supposed to do that when you're like a rookie. But he's the opposite. He was like kind of cool. I really liked him. I actually bought his jersey when I was younger, but now I can't stand his guts. He kind of turned into like Kanye West for me. The older he gets, the more I hate him. So that's kind of where I stand with Aaron Rodgers.
You know what he's like? He's like the Meghan and Harry. That's exactly who he's like. I don't want attention. I don't want paparazzi. I don't want press. I don't want anything. But let me go on a 4 days of darkness, take as much mushrooms as I can, and go on the Pat McAfee show. Like, that's just not enough, buddy. If you want them out of press, stay out of the media. But then let's come around like Meghan Markle. Let's get Netflix. Please sign the contract. Give me 6 figures for it. Like, just what all that bull crap is.
My dad has a friend who literally puts on Twitter, hey, I just want to let everybody, he's a media figure in San Diego. He'll be like, hey, everybody, I'm going to the Padre game tonight. Please don't bother me. I'm going to be in section 109, row 16, seat 3. But please do not bother me. I'm like, okay, dude. Like, that's Aaron Rodgers. Sure, buddy. Right.
We'll be in the seat by 5 p.m., but no one bother me.
Yeah, please do not. Yeah.
It's a true story. Unfortunately, that's 100% true. Yeah. It's funny though. The AFC West, as crazy as we thought it was last year, would be even more nuts. I kind of like the fact though that it means more attention for the AFC West. Again, I'm one of those guys that has complained, for years that the Dallas Cowboys get so much attention that all of a sudden, Patrick Mahomes is the best player in the NFL. The Chiefs are the best team in the NFL. The Raiders would have Aaron Rodgers. The Chargers would have Justin Herbert. And then you have Russell Wilson and Sean Payton. You have major figures of the NFL in one division. It's even more exciting than it was a year ago at this time.
I couldn't agree more. I got to ask you guys a question because it's so funny you brought up Patrick Mahomes' name. Before I say it, Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson are the 2 most hated starting quarterbacks in the NFL, correct?
Yeah.
Right? They have to be.
Yeah.
And they'd be in the same division, which would be awesome.
Zach Wilson.
He's up there. I hate, I cannot say it enough, I like Patrick Mahomes. I want to hate him, dude. He just seems like such a good person. Like when I see his interviews, he literally just seems like he just plays football and doesn't do anything else. And I'm like, why can't you just be a jerk? Why can't you be like Aaron Rodgers? I just want to hate your guts. I can't get around to hating him. I've tried every angle, and I don't like him. Do you guys feel that way about him?
Yeah. He's too humble. He's way too
Dude,
humble.
he's super humble, right?
He's super humble. Yeah. Like, he needs – if he was acting like John Morant does right now,
or his brother,
just having one playoff. Yeah, or his brother. Like, that would be – or his brother. That would make me not like him 10 times more. But the fact is, like, every interview you see of him, like, he's so humble. And, like, he'd even get questions. Like, I've seen interviews get questions like, you just dominated this team or whatever. And instead of being like, yeah, like, I'm the best. He's like, no, like, Coach Reed, like, call up a good play. Like, it's just so, I'm like, dude, like, besides your voice being incredibly funnily high, like, it's so hard not to like you. And Dave's about to say, I hate his guts.
No, I don't. You know what? So here you go. I'm going to say my age, but there's going to be somebody listening who's going to go, I know exactly what he's talking about. There was a TV show before my time, Mario, called The Munsters. Okay. Do you know what the Munsters are? The Munsters were a group of, like, basically the dad looked like Frankenstein. The wife looked like a female vampire. The grandfather lived under the stairs, had a pet dragon. They were all ugly as could be. All right. And they were weird looking. But they had their knee stained with them, Marilyn, who was smoking hot, okay? And they always would have conversations behind Marilyn's back about how ugly she was. But everyone watching's like, Marilyn's a 10 out of 10, she smokes show. But they goofed on her all the time. Patrick Mahomes is in the Munsters. He's Marilyn. The dad's a whack job. The mom's crazy. His wife is nuts. His brother's a psycho. And yet he's the normal one. He's cool as could be. I hate to say it. He has that stupid voice, but that's the least we pick on. I mean, the thing is, we only talk about his voice because that's all we have. That's all we have. I mean, if he smoked 2 cigars a day, he'd come back next year as the coolest guy on the planet. But I'm telling you, he's ridiculously great. He's great at everything. And I hate to say it, if it wasn't for his whack job family, he'd be perfect. I don't have nothing bad to say about Patrick Mahomes.
If somebody said to you, Dave, I'm going to give you a crazy good arm, you're going to be a really great guy, people are going to love you, but you're going to have a horrible voice, would you take that deal?
Hold on, am I Patrick Mahomes? I mean, I have to be like a Super Bowl
No,
champion.
because I know you would take it if you're Patrick Mahomes. No, you're like Zach Wilson, but you're not. Zach
Wilson's
a good guy.
I feel like that guy.
He's not a good guy. He's not a good guy. You're Justin Herbert.
Oh, that's a tough one.
But you have Patrick Mahomes' voice. Mario, no question.
Dude,
taking it,
dude. I would give up a lot more than that, bro. You not start throwing out some huge things. I know exactly what you're going to, and the answer is yes.
Yeah.
That'd be tough, man. I keep thinking, all right, so you're Justin Herbert, but you got the voice of that guy in the movie I Love You, Man. The guy in the gym has that crazy high pitched voice.
Yeah,
you going with that?
Yeah, dude, I'd go with any.
I can't. My career's gonna end one day. My career's gonna end one day, and it's like you can't even go on media. You can't even go into it because they're like, dude, we can't have you on. Patrick Mahomes is probably
talking to you.
Okay, that's okay. Does Patrick Mahomes get that Tom Brady contract when he's done playing with that voice?
Nobody's gonna get a contract with Family Guy or South Park. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. No, it's tough, man. That's tough. All right. Speaking of Patrick Mahomes is doing something that's coming out. It's called Quarterback, and it's a show. It's going to be on Netflix. Okay. And this show has already been recorded, and it's basically 3 quarterbacks. It's Patrick Mahomes, it's Marcus Mariota, and it's Kirk Cousins. All right. And they followed these quarterbacks around for a year. Not only were they mic'd for every single game, but the camera also follows these guys at home life as well. Peyton Manning's one of the producers. Patrick Mahomes is one of the producers of this. Is this one of those shows that you guys would say, man, I am in? It's the NFL, it's quarterbacks, it's, star player like Patrick Mahomes. Is it something that you guys would go out of your way to watch?
First off, that's the most random grouping of quarterbacks of all time. I don't know how they landed on those 3 guys, but yeah, I'm watching it because I think being an NFL quarterback is fascinating. You have to be part of the team because you're a leader, you're the quarterback, but you also have to distance yourself from the team at the same time. You can't be a part of all the jokes and all this stuff because you literally have to know what everybody's doing at all times. You have to be the first one in the building, the last one to leave. You really have to be one of the guys, but you can at the same time. I would love to see the dynamic of how they do that during the season.
I'm all in on it. Dude, I love these docs. I'm all in on Full Swing. I've rewatched Drive to Survive Formula 1 multiple times. I'm all in on it. I love Hard Knocks. It's one of my favorite things to watch every single year. I'm all in. I think they did such a funny, great job of going, all right, we're going to do this show, and we're going to need the best quarterback in the league, then we're going to need mid, and then we're going to need the guy that sucks. And they perfected that to a freaking T. Let's get Mahomes. All right, we need mid. Kirk Cousins, got him. Perfect. Bring in the religious crowd with that. Perfect. Marcus Mariota, perfect for the low, fighting for a job type. They nailed that, dude. I was like, you got the best, you got the worst, you got the middle. Excellent job on that end.
Is that what you want, though? Would you rather have that, or would you rather have Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Joe Burrow?
So I'm actually really interested in Kirk Cousins because he does get a lot of heat. It's when you talk about guys that get dogged on, that is a lot of heat. I do wish they did Allen to see that mental battle he has of trying to beat Mahomes, of trying to beat Burrow, because he is in that spot where it's yeah, he's one of the best, but he just can't get the ring, can't win in the big dance yet. And so that part I do miss because it's that part's so cool. And then if you actually get to the point where he does win, that's really, really cool. So that I really do. And the sucky quarterback, I also I'm interested in just to hear what's it like to be in a battle for a QB spot in the NFL. I was what's that like? So I think that'd be kind of cool.
The deal is, if this goes well, they're going to do it again with 3 other quarterbacks. You know what I'm saying? Just like Hard Knocks, you're going to do it again with 3 other quarterbacks, and it'll be interesting to see, which 3 guys they decide to go in that route. I'd like to see them actually pick one of these rookie quarterbacks as one of them next year if they do it again. I'd love to see whether it's a Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud to show what they go through. But overall, I find it fascinating. I don't think Aaron Rodgers would ever do it, by the way. I don't think Aaron Rodgers would say, number one, he doesn't need the money. 2 is you can't turn it off. If you're mic'd all the time, 7 days a week, you can't just turn it off and be yourself, whatever yourself is, But no, I find it fascinating. I'm watching. I'm with you, Mario. I love that stuff. I always say none of us are inside the circle. As much as we follow the Chargers and we follow Justin Herbert and we know what's going on, we think with the team, even if we're in the locker room every single day, if we're like Fernando Ramirez, who's at every single practice, he's still not inside the circle of what actually happens. And so anything that lets you as close as you can inside the circle is awesome to me. I can't get enough of stuff like that. I don't care what sport it is. It just happens to be the NFL, which is my favorite. So now I'm looking forward to it.
You guys want to jump into the lent conversation?
Yeah, let's do it. All right. So this is Mario's idea. Okay. So, Easter's obviously coming up and you saw people with Ash Wednesday and all over the place and you're going, okay, so what are you giving up for Lent? That's the big thing right now. And, talk is, here's the deal. I'm not giving up anything for Lent, but I'll tell you, if I had to give up anything for Lent, I'll tell you what I would do. Mario, so you were raised Catholic, correct?
No, I wasn't. All my friends were Catholic.
Oh, you weren't?
Though. No.
Okay. So you didn't have the ash on your head on Wednesday?
No, I didn't. All my friends are Catholic. My girlfriend's Catholic.
Okay. So what's the deal? So what are your friends giving up for Lent? What would you give up for Lent? Give me 3 things.
So funny enough, I always say I get bullied into Lent like every single year because everyone's like, what are you giving up for Lent? I'm like, I don't know. And they're like, well, you have to give up something. I'm like, fine, I'll pick something. So I think the 3 most common ones of all time, like people always go, no sugar. Good for you. Load up on sodium. And then it's like no fast food. And then like no alcohol. Personally, I'm doing the no CBD. No CBD oil or anything of that nature. Giving that up.
Good for you, man. Proud of you.
Thank you.
That's a big move right there. Yeah.
Proud of you.
Yeah. Is that the one thing, or are you gonna give up anything else?
I was thinking about sugar, dude, but I'll tell you what, an Irish cream cold brew from Starbucks calls your name about 12 p.m. on Sunday, dude. Tell you what right now.
Your new Sunday habit? Yeah, good for you, man. Yeah. I like that. Replace football with cold brews. Yeah. Good.
Okay, well, Mario, since you're in the Midwest, okay, I'm in California. So in California, smoking's not a big deal anymore. Like you don't see people smoking cigarettes really that often.
Yeah.
Do people smoke where you are?
No, but like people would do like no more, like Zins is really big. So people are like, all right, no Zins. Like I'm giving up Zins. I've never been big in that. I was when I was in high school and then I got sick from it. So I was like, yeah, I'm probably out for it. But yeah, Zins is very, very big. People love giving up the Zins. I have one friend that goes, I give up alcohol to prove to everyone that I'm not alcoholic. I go, okay.
I don't know if it works like that, but okay.
That's why I said I don't know if it works like that.
I was going to guess the 3 most popular things that people give up are drinking, smoking, and sugar. That's what I was going to guess, but I have no idea.
Yeah, I have no idea. Sugar's a big one.
I think that's what I think Mario just said that literally. Drinking, smoking.
Yeah, no, he didn't. But you didn't say smoking. You said tobacco. I just didn't know if people actually smoke cigarettes.
Oh, okay.
That's why I was curious.
If you had to give something up, what would it be?
For me, I tell you what, the 3 things that sugar would be number 1. Honestly, I eat sugar. I feel terrible. Like I just feel like all the air just went out of my body. I just, all right, I'm going to sleep. See ya. Yeah, sugar would be bad. I tell you what I would love for people to give up would be political talk on social media. I don't know anyone that's ever read a political statement on social media and said, man, that is a great point. I am switching sides. Enough. I think we're all tired of it, right? We're all tired of it. For me, if I had to give up something, it would be tobacco. I'm a guy that dips. So I'm telling you right now, it would be tobacco. But I'll tell you right now, if I gave up tobacco right now, I would be the guy punching random people in the face. Like I would not do well coming off of tobacco. I'd have to lock myself in a hotel room for like 2 weeks to get it out of my system. So I don't know. It's a terrible habit, I'll tell you right now. But at the same time, I don't think I could stop it.
Okay, why do you think locking yourself in a okay? Stop. Why do you think locking yourself in a hotel room would make you fix your habit? Like, why do you think that would?
Because because there wouldn't be people around. Like when I try and say, okay, look, I got to stop, chewing tobacco. If I stop it by 11 a.m. in the morning, I am so anxious and so angry. It's insane. Like I couldn't go to the gas station without punching the guy next to me. You know what I'm saying?
Why would you want to? Yeah. Why would
I don't want to punch anybody. I don't want to punch anyone. I'm on edge.
Okay, if it's a you problem, then why would other people make you more mad? Why? I don't get that.
Oh, people make me mad.
All right. Okay. Well, it's good to know.
I get that though. Like, I've seen people give it up
yeah,
and people get mad.
Yeah. It's true. You need whatever it does. It calms me down. I have no explanation for it. I'm addicted to nicotine, straight out.
We should put a camera around you and let you quit and just like you.
Dude, wouldn't it be cool?
About how you're feeling.
I'd be putting holes in the wall, making a Netflix special.
We do need content in the off season. Like that's not a bad one.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Dude, no.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the guinea pig.
You're at baseball practice.
I'd get arrested. I'd beat the hell out of the gardener. It wouldn't be good.
Even better content. That's a T-shirt. Print it.
Tracking down the mailman for giving me the wrong mail. No, it would not be good. No.
All right.
No.
Well, that was weird. All right.
Go ahead. What would you give up?
Yeah. No, my three things I give up for. I'm also not Catholic, but if I had to give up three things, the first one would be the first two are things I'm actually doing right now. So the first one is binge eating. Took me 29 years to realize that binge eating is not the way to go. I'm Italian, so binge eating is like in our DNA, like eat till you're full. So the thing is I eat till I can't eat anymore, which is like really bad. Expands your stomach.
Yeah.
And I don't like the way I look with my shirt off when I do that. And then you're really just supposed to eat till you're full, right? Till you're not hungry anymore. So I'm trying to do that. And then my second thing, which I'm totally failed on this week, is biting my nails. I hate that I bite my nails. It's kind of gross at the same time. People that bite, you don't really notice on your nails. So the fact that I bite my nails really bothers me. I'm 29 years old, and that's something that kids do. I should stop doing that. And then the last
What if you have to throw a knuckleball? You're going to need those nails.
That's what I was saying to myself. Yeah. In case of a knuckleball situation, I need these nails. So, yeah. And then you never know when a knuckleball is going to pop up. The last one, and I think we all can relate to this, is caring what other people think on social media that don't have their real name in their Twitter handle. Okay, buddy, if you're not man enough to put your actual name with your tweets, like I shouldn't care. So the fact that I do care sometimes when people like try to troll, I'm like, bro, you're not even a real, like you are not man enough to talk crap. So the fact that I get mad about those people, I'm done with it. 2023. If you're talking crap without your real name, you're a loser. I don't care. So there you go. Those are my three things.
Drop your address. Yeah.
I will
be
tell
a real
you
one. Drop your address.
Yeah, I like that.
A real one. Drop and meet me outside. Catch me outside.
Yeah, find out.
I tell you what. Yeah. I tell you what I do like this time of year. I'll admit my habit outside of tobacco is man, I love those goddamn McDonald's Filet-O-Fishes. And I tell you what, man, they're on sale every Friday. Mario, they're on sale. I'm buying, dude. You want to go? I'll pick you up. I'm
set.
Friday.
I'm all set. I'm all set.
Right.
I'm all set. You can.
I'm going right through that drive-through. I'm getting 3 for myself, and they'll all be gone before I even pull in the driveway.
That's
dude. I'm not big on the Filet-O-Fish. No.
I will say this. I am one of the worst. Like, I do this with food. I do this with like packages or anything. Like if I get fast food and I'm driving home, if that drive is more than 5 minutes, food's gone by the time I get home. Like it's down the gauntlet. And I get there, I'm like, oh, well, I was gonna watch a movie and eat, but not doing that anymore.
Dude, I do it all the time just to try and stay awake.
Okay.
If it's more than 2 hours, I'll go through and order a ton of food, and I'll order so much food, Mario, that I'll literally go. I think the guys at the factory wanted, like, I'm ordering for like 5 guys, and then I'll sit there and drive like 2 hours from LA back to San Diego, the biggest goddamn drink you've ever seen. But I'll do it to stay awake. I'm like, that was a horrible idea by the time it's time to go to bed.
Do you eat the burger or the fries first?
Fries. Dude, I told you, fries are my favorite food. Fries are my favorite food.
Thank you.
Oh.
Dude,
Thank you.
You can't eat fries second, dude. If fries go cold, man, it tastes terrible. You got to eat fries
I was
first.
told I was weird for eating
fries
fries first. Yeah, no, I'm so happy we're on the
first.
same page. I'm really happy about
this.
Do you know in the history of the world, no one's ever ordered McDonald's French fries and made it home with the fries still available? Ever?
100%, dude. You just
I saw that on a Snapple bottle cap one time. Yeah.
Quote Dave Palet. Okay, Josh, to help the binge eating, do you fast at all?
No, I can't. I don't know. I should. I want to do it.
I've been doing it, and I'm not a scientist. I'm not gonna be one of those guys, but I'm gonna go ahead and throw a hat on and say might be a little cap. Just gonna throw that out there. I've been doing it for
not worth it.
Okay, well, I don't know if I'm following the rules perfectly, but
because you don't eat when you're sleeping, that doesn't
count. No. I do I actually do a great job of like cutting off eating. Like I ate from 2 to 6:30 today. Like I do a great job of that. Like I only eat within 12 to 8. I try to make it shorter during the week. But like it's also supposed to be like no alcohol. But like I'm gonna go out on a Friday night and have a good time. And so like I'm not gonna be sober boy. So it's like, yeah, I'll have tequila water, vodka water, like that's it. And I thought I would like get pretty cut pretty quickly. But I don't know. It's just not like it worked for like the first week. And I was like, dude, I might be a stud come summer. But now we're just still in this phase where like it's not. We haven't seen any improvement. So I don't know.
Okay, are you eating healthy when you do eat, or are you just whatever you eat? It doesn't matter.
Pretty healthy. So I usually have like a protein shake, 2 chicken breasts, and like if I don't have that, it's like chicken and rice.
Oh, you're good. I mean, maybe it's because you sit down. It might be because you sit down a lot because of the job you have. But besides that, I mean, you're doing great. I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You should have that girl's finger back by June, no problem. Yeah. You'll be fine.
I need my curves, dude.
Who's the blonde? Yeah. Who's the blondie with the long hair? That's Mario. Yeah.
What's up, Daddy?
That's too funny. All right, look. When we come back next week, we'll be back on Tuesday. Now, look, here's the confirmation we got. Former Charger wide receiver Eric Parker is going to join the show. And the reason Eric's going to join the show, we're going to talk a lot about Keenan Allen. A lot of talk that Keenan Allen could be let go by the Chargers. He might not be with the team in 2023. Could be a salary cap move. At the same time, Eric will talk about what it's like to age as a receiver in the NFL and what does Keenan Allen have left, how valuable he actually is to the team and what the franchise would be giving up if Keenan Allen's not with them in 2023. So, the plan is former Charger wide receiver Eric Parker will join us on the show next week. And we encourage you to leave comments, of course, through either Twitter or again, on YouTube. But we appreciate you listening to the Bolt City podcast. We're going to be here all throughout the offseason, leading into the draft, and, of course, through training camp, everything that goes on as we get ready for the Chargers to make a run at a Super Bowl championship, as we've waited 58 years for it to happen. We're crossing our fingers. This is it.